Someone recently asked me about coping with physical discomfort, pain, illness, physical suffering, basically. How does meditation and consciousness and spiritual awakening, what do these things have to do, or how can they influence your physical state? And when your physical state is so bad and it's really so uncomfortable, then what benefit is there really to thinking about things like mind and consciousness and spirit and stuff? So let me give you my thoughts on this. Suffering and pain are not the same thing. And first, before I start, I want to say I am not just spitting out theory here. I'm not just saying something that I read. I have suffered from terrible pain. I have been very sick. I have done a lot of throwing up. I have been in too much pain to walk. Like I have had physical problems. And I'm speaking from what worked for me. For me. Let's say you have a physical condition and it is uncomfortable. It is very, very uncomfortable. The truth is, what can you do about it? You've probably gone to the doctor, therapies, surgeries, pain meds, whatever. But at the end of the day, whatever state you are experiencing in your body right now is what is. And that, even when it is physically unpleasant, it doesn't have to lead to suffering. Suffering is not something, at least as I define the terms and as it is commonly defined in spiritual work and even psychology work. Suffering is not something that occurs in your body. Pain occurs in your body. Your nerves feel pain. And that is not the same thing as suffering. Suffering is when your mind pr- processes or interprets the pain felt by your nervous system. So that is the echo of the pain. You have the what is happening to the body, and it's what how the sensations, and it goes into your brain and your brain goes ouch. And then you have that being looked at by the mind, and the mind going, oh, this is so bad, this is so horrible, when will this end, why is this so bad, not again, I thought I was healed, what is happening? For me, I look at how this is affecting my life. I'm such a burden to the people who are taking care of me. What have I done wrong? What is wrong with God? God must hate me. All of that combined is suffering. And suffering, I don't even want to put a number to it, but let's just for the sake of discussion say suffering is 50% of the misery of a physically debilitating condition. If you can end suffering, no, you know what? It's not 50%. I'm just talking about me. For me, the suffering of the physical condition was 80%. 80% of the misery. And over time, I learned to, would I say completely eliminate, or very close to completely eliminate suffering. It took a while. I'm not gonna lie, it took a while. But when I eliminated the psychological suffering, sorry, um, the all that was left was the pain sensations of the physical body, which honestly, at the end of the day, are nerve receptors interpreted by the brain, and that is bearable. And again, I'm not being facetious here, people. I am not saying, oh, you just suck it up, you'll be fine. I was there. I was, curled up in a ball on the floor. I couldn't walk. I was in pain. But I'm telling you now, the pain physical pain only is so much more bearable than physical pain combined with mental anguish, with mental suffering. So that is the short answer of what can meditation and consciousness work do to help with alleviate physical pain. When you are able to watch, to witness the mind, anything that the mind tells you, if the mind is telling you fear, 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 anxiety, worry, or if the mind is telling you pain, misery, self pity, whatever that your mind is telling you, whether it's physical, your mind is suffering, is creating suffering because of physical pain, or your mind is creating suffering because of um, fears or emotions or whatever it's carrying, it doesn't matter. Either your mind, you identify as your mind and you listen to and engage with and believe every single thing that the mind has to say and you respond to everything that the mind has to say, or you create a little tiny separation and you understand I am here and the mind is there, and the mind is presenting to me the option of engaging with suffering, but I don't have to engage with it. That's that's the first benefit of meditation. How do you experience this? You experience this by, in the midst of the pain. Like the pain is, I'm going to, the pain is so bad I'm going to lift out of my body or I'm going to pass out, or the discomfort is so bad I feel like I want to cry because I'm so sick and tired of it. In that moment, you turn your awareness inside. And when I say inside, I mean, I think of it like layers of an onion, and you have, okay, the physical layer, peel that off. Okay, then after that there's a mental layer, peel that off. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Go inside. And if you can go inside in that moment, and the funny thing, the ironic thing, the blessing of this is that the worse the pain is, the easier it is for this to happen. I'm sorry, but that was my experience. Um, you go inside and you feel a stillness. It's almost like if everything on the outside here is going, "Rah!" But then inside there's like this, there's a stillness. And that occurs for like 1 second. And that's the first moment of creating that gap between you and the suffering, because you realize that that thing inside of you, that place, that consciousness, that being, that whatever you want to call it inside of you, that is like the eye of the storm that's perfectly still in the midst of all of this, that is you. The mind that is suffering is not you. The mind that is suffering is something that you witness, observe, engage with, and experience. You are the wellness at the center. It is the mind that is suffering. That which suffers is not you. Okay, let's do something that's slightly easier to grasp. If you tell me right now, or if I ask you, are you tired? Right? Let's just say you're tired. You probably are in some way tired. Can you do this exercise with me right now? Can you sense my body is tired? Yes. Physical body, back, shoulders, neck, feet, tired. Headache, tired, right? Can you also sense that my mind is tired? Tired of thinking, tired of worrying, just tired, just fed up, tired. Good. You can grasp that. Can you also grasp at the same time, simultaneous to both of these truths, that there is a layer of your being right now that is not tired? What you truly are is not tired. It cannot be tired and it has never been tired. That, what I just described there, what we just did together, is a small little glimpse of what happens when there is physical discomfort, pain, suffering. You go inside and you realize there's a part of me that isn't suffering. There's a part of me that watches the pain, experiences the pain. Now, I'm not talking about dissociation. I am not talking about dissociation. I am talking about a realization that pain is occurring and that you are experiencing it. That suffering of the pain is an interpretive conversation that is happening in the mind. And even that you are observing. That is the truth. And when you feel that, sometimes the wickedest pain can drive you to that moment of wait, okay. When you feel that, then you're beginning the process of spiritual awakening, of healing the suffering. The suffering is something that the mind presents to awareness and throws like a blanket over awareness, over consciousness, and you're just inundated by this suffering, which is separate from the physical pain. Continuing to meditate, to do check out the YouTube channel. There's a you look view channel, click playlist, under playlist there's one called guided meditations. Any of the meditations and guided meditations will help you to experience this. That's the type of meditations that I lead. You start to realize, wait, there's a part of me that is okay, there's a part of me that does not suffer, there's a part of me that is still, there is a part of me that is not affected by the pain. And you visit that place 5, 10, 15 minutes, once a day, twice a day. You become familiar with that place, and then after a while, the narrative that the mind is presenting to you that makes you suffer, the oh, what is happening, oh, this is so horrible, what, that narrative is no longer appealing to you. You are consciousness. You are not the body. The body is something that consciousness is experiencing. When you realize, wait, what I am is well, and this nonsense, blah 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 blah, that the mind is trying to make me agonize over, I don't need that. I can experience the pain, have feel the pain, not dissociate from the pain, not deny the pain at all, the physical pain that is happening to the body. I can experience it, yet not suffer, because suffering is one of the voices that I could choose to listen to, but I would rather experience the truth of my being and simply be, and be the already well being that I am. And when you anchor yourself there, the narrative that the mind is trying to, this song that it's singing, and eventually it doesn't stop, but you just don't be like, nope, not going there, not interested in that. So going back to the numbers, they're just random numbers, but they're numbers based on what I believe is my experience, a true representation of my experience. 80% of the misery of being physically unwell is the suffering that occurs in the mind. And 20% is the actual physical pain. Even though what I have experienced was extreme pain, um, that is the truth. And when you start to awaken to who you really are on the inside, what your real consciousness is, the fact that you're actually well, then that 80% goes away. And then all you're left with is pain. It's not pain plus suffering, it's just pain. So, tick, wonderful, fantastic, excellent success. Um, the second thing that happens is that you actually realize that the pain is less intense without the amplification or the magnifying glass of the mind. And again, I'm not trying to dismiss your pain and say the pain is in your mind and you're making it up and it's not real. Nope, the pain is real. The pain is real. But the pain is less than you think. It's less when you don't think. If you think this is rubbish, then this is the foundation of what the of Lamaze classes, the breath-based awareness. All the meditations I do, breath-based awareness. If you can reclaim your awareness from the suffering in the mind and the pain in the body, then really truly your experience at the level of awareness, at the level of consciousness is less, very, very, very much less, even if you're masterful at it, zero. But I'm not gonna make promises of that. Meditate and there shall be no pain. No. Meditate and there shall be much more there shall be pain without suffering, and there shall be a diminished quantity of pain. So again, tick second thing that we can achieve through these practices. And the third one, which I will say Um, some pain, some conditions, some physical illnesses are directly caused by suppressed emotions, especially the ones that you don't understand, that your doctor doesn't understand, that you can't seem to find a cure for. Those are caused by the things that the emotional pain that is so terrible. You didn't you went into shock, you didn't want to experience that emotional pain, so you took it, you bottled it, you tied it up in a knot, and you buried it in your body, and your body is starting to express it as a pain. Now, I'm not dismissing genuine diseases, accidents, whatever. I know there's stuff we suffer, we're human. The body can experience illnesses and injuries. I get it. But I'm saying that there is a certain percentage of things that human beings go through, quite a significant percentage, that is actually an expression of unconsciousness. It is the fact that we are not willing to, what happened to us, we buried it, and we're never looking at it again. And it is trying to get our attention through pain. And meditation, especially if you go through the stuff that I teach and the meditation videos that I have, the book, the course, whatever, just look at what I do. What I teach is that awareness, awareness, returning to the state of consciousness, to remembering that you are aware, to the state of being. That action, um, it it allows presence. It you basically dwell in the state of consciousness that is the healer. The self, with a capital S, the self, the higher self, the spirit within. The self is the healer. First and foremost, and 100% of the time, absolutely guaranteed, the self is the level of consciousness that heals emotional pain, active emotional pain, dormant emotional pain, suppressed emotional pain that has been contorted and turned into physical pain. The self, as a level of consciousness attained through meditative practices, is what heals that. And it does that 100% of the time. There is also the fact that, and I say this with caution because I don't want to give you false promises, nor do I want you to rush after the result and not the process, right? But I'm still going to say it because it's technically part of the answer. When you experience the higher level of consciousness, allow it, surrender to it, melt into it, and allow it to exist. When you visit that place more frequently, that layer of consciousness is the causal layer of consciousness. It is the cause of other things. It is what, it is the source code. It is where you go to change this world. It has the power to change this world. So if you were to seek physical healing, um, not seek it. When you seek the self, when you seek the higher level of consciousness, the expression of the higher level of consciousness is healing. Healing is a gift of God, not necessarily a gift from God. And this is why I say this really cautiously, because so many people rush after and create a new form of suffering where they're like, I'm going to pray or meditate or achieve and heal. I'm going to ask that to heal this. And it's not, it's more complicated and nuanced than that. But it can be summarized, what I'm trying to say can be summarized in this statement. God, or the higher consciousness, Christ consciousness, spirit, self, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're comfortable saying, that level of consciousness is the newness of your entire being, including your body. And if you choose to, this is your spiritual quest or approach, you can say, not that I, small me, am going to God for God to give me a gift of healing. I don't want healing as a gift from God. When you say, I am going to melt into God, and experience God, then the gift of experiencing God is healing. That's not just something beautiful that I read or heard. I have seen this. I have witnessed it in others. I've witnessed it in myself. I've witnessed it in people very, very close to my life. And I tell you the absolute truth, and I only tell you what I have actually experienced. I have through this process healed like two physical illnesses, persistent long-term illnesses, and another illness that I have that was really, 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 really bad, has gotten much, 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 much better. Have I been 100% healed from it? No, I haven't, and I'm just gonna honestly tell you that. But it has become so much more bearable, like more than 90%, like 95%. um I'm functional. There's much less pain. It debilitates me more. It's less scary. Even the doctors that I visited are like, are you sure that you were properly diagnosed by the other doctor? So, yeah. Anyhow, I don't want to get too much into that because people often skip presence, awareness, meditation, finding the stillness within, finding the inner part that is well, finding the self. They skip all that, fast forward to the end and go, ooh, healing. Yeah, okay. So if I meditate, I heal. If I meditate, I heal. If you go through the full journey, find the part of you that is well. Find, dwell in that place, be comfortable in that place, surrender to that place, grow and with that, co-create with that, learn to trust that, learn to heal the relationship you have with that, learn the difference between what you call you and what is actually that. When you go through that journey, yes, healing is a result of that journey. But anyhow, again, long video. um but yeah, it's a very sincere question that I get often. And someone asked me again recently, and I just wanted to say, when there's nothing else that medical science can do, and even while you're working with your doctors to heal whatever needs to heal, acceptance, witnessing, being the self, being the stillness within, understanding that the narrative of the mind is not the truth. All of those things make massive, massive, massive differences in your state of being. Are you suffering from what is? What is, but are you suffering from it? And you'll learn with whether it's money, health, or anything, when you seek the consciousness, when you seek the consciousness or the layer of yourself that is well, everything else falls into place, including healing. So I hope that was helpful. I look forward to your comments on this one. It was a different one than what I usually do. So thank you very much and have a lovely day. Bye.